still fitting the body together. And when you come to this side, after I put this inner part of the fender on, if this was pulled down, this would scrape here and it would scrape here. So I measured from this point up to this body line right here, and it's a 1/2 inch difference. It's a 1/2 inch longer on this side. So I folded the hood up, and there's a little lip right here. So I measured from this lip, this panel, down, and they're the same size. So it tells me that the hinge inside this top of the hood is bent down. It's crazy, crazy. So I was having a hard time with trying to get this thing to fit. Well, here's another thing. See this metal tab? That's part of the hinge system, okay? So I come over to this side, and there is no tab. So I lifted it up, and you can see the tab inside there. See? That tab gets covered up by the hood, this part of the hood. So which tells me now, this side's probably correct. The other side is the one that's kind of messed up and janked up. I knew there was one side that was, I just couldn't tell which yet. So that tells me that I've got to take this hood apart and figure out how to move that hinge, see if it's bent or something. I haven't got there yet. Because I'm not able to get the pin out of here yet. I've tried on both sides, and I don't have any luck. But by maybe doing that, maybe I can get this hood to fit better, because I'm having some side-to-side issues. It's tight here, it's loose over there. I think that's a very common thing. I checked the fender, this fender, to the frame on each side, and it's exactly the same. So, because I wasn't sure if the nose was going crooked, because the nose could go crooked, but it's not. It's right on the same. It's telling me that hood is messed up. Well, I guess it's par for the course, right? We'll just keep continuing. So as I suspected, this hinge is down probably pretty close to a 1/2 inch. You can see there's some poopy weld in here. See the gap here? Get my finger on in there. This is the hood that measured long to the body line, but measured the same distance from here to here. So let me go and show you the way it's supposed to be. And this is the way it's supposed to be. See how it's tight up against here? That's the way it's supposed to be. So my hood is messed up. So it's time to start working on that. So moving on with this hood, I got the pin out. What I did to do that is I had opened this up, and then I had tried pounding on the end with a pin punch this way. And that wasn't really working. Nothing was happening here. So if I look in here, I took this part and I ever so slightly opened up these notches with a screwdriver. I didn't wrench on it too hard. I just kind of opened them just a little bit, just to give me a little room, because it seemed like the pin was stuck in here, not there, because when I open and close the hood, it would move with this and wouldn't move with that. So that's why I opened that up a little bit, all along there, and then I tapped on it again and tapped on it again, and it started moving. By the time it got out, I took a pin punch that was pretty long, about that size, down on the other end, and I tap, 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 tap. Stuck out just far enough that I could get a vice grip on it, clamped it hard, and I started hitting the vice grip, and then just walked it right out. So I am amazed that I got that out. And here's the whole problem right here. This piece is rolled up. It needs to be rolled down, and you can see where it needs to be because you can see that this is stretched a little here. This needs to be rolled up. All this does. So now I got to figure out how to do that and keep them all in line. There's also this here. See, this here broke and somebody had welded it. So when I cut the weld off, it became loose. And so I'll add that back in there, but it should be way down here, not way up here. See? So we'll get that figured out. I'll get the other hood taken apart also, so I can make sure I match them, because the other hood is definitely correct. And then this one needs some repairs. There's some little bitty pinholes right up in here that I gotta fix. So there'll be a lot of work on the hood. Okay, I kinda wanna explain what I'm doing. See, now this part of the hinge is down. It should be close to this body line right here. That's where the other one is on the other hood. So these all need to roll down. And how I'm doing that is I'm taking another rod that's the same size as the pin that went through there, which happens to be 3/16. I'm putting it in here, okay? And I'm feeding it through 2 of them at a time. Then I'm gonna take a center punch, or a pin punch, which got a flat. So then I'm just tapping it here and tapping it there, and then going back and forth, slowly walking that thing down. So now when you look at it, we are getting really close. The edge is like right there. So it might need to be rolled down just a hair more, but you can see the difference between where this hinge is and that hinge is. That's how far off my hood was. So now I got to roll all these down the same way. So now that I did those few 3, I ended up doing that the whole way. What I did, again, I put a pin in it, pounded all 3 of them down at the same time, you know, and then I did the next ones, and then I did the next ones, the next ones, and so on and so forth. Now all I got to do is I'm going to get a longer pin. I'm not going to use the original one anymore. I'm going to get a new one that's straight, and I'm going to feed it through here all the way. And I'm going to make sure each one is tilted right, straight, and everything else with that pin. So then that way I won't have any issue when I decide to put this all back together again. And here's the hood after I've taken it apart and repaired it. I haven't put the sides on because I'm going to end up having these chemically stripped, but I did temporarily put them on and measure and match each side. And now this side over here matches this side. The only problem now is we're going to get into fit and finish of the vehicle, the truck. And as you can see on this side, I'm close, no gap. Same with over here, no gap. We come over here, we've got the close, no gap, and we have big gap. So this can be a couple different things, but I'm not convinced that the cab is as straight as I need it. I think it's square on the frame from how I measured it. But anyway, I'll leave that to fitting the body video. This is just about the hood. And again, as you can see, you know, all that hood, all these hinge points have been moved. Now it's a matter of getting this acid dipped. There's going to be probably a few pinholes in through here that I'll have to fix on one, I think it's that one, but I'll know that when I ask to dip it. So this is going to wrap up the video for the hood right now. I'm sure there'll be more, and we will go from there.